Hello and welcome to Versus. I feel like I need a really sick guitar lick for that opening, but I don't know. I feel like it'd be too much work. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in for this episode of Versus, and I have a pretty dangerous matchup for this one. So let's get right in there. It's Outlast versus Until Dawn. Alright. So, I'm going to skip going over what the games are about because my first category actually is story. So, category number one. Story is pretty essential to any game. I think everyone can pretty much say that. So, let's get started with Outlast story. Outlast is about a insane asylum on top of a mountain called Mount Massive. I know it's not really the best name, but anyways. Outlast was designed by an indie team, and then it was released. When it was released, it was actually free on the PlayStation Plus program. That really doesn't have anything to do with the story. That's just kind of background I wanted to throw in there. But anyways, it's about a asylum on the top of a mountain, and you're a reporter who gets a message from someone inside the asylum saying, "Hey, there's some weird shit going on down here, or up here, I should say. So come and take a look." So he drives up there in his Jeep Wrangler, and pretty much from the beginning, you can just feel that this game is really spooky. And so you go inside the asylum, you find out everyone's either dead or disfigured until like you can't recognize who they were. And without giving anything away, you go through the whole game, and the ending's not too satisfying for the original story, but the ending for the Whisper DLC is pretty good, and that kind of outweighs the ending for the regular one, which is unfortunate because I do like the game and I like the story in the game. I just wish the ending of the original game wasn't so. I didn't really like it. Other people might like it, might say, "Oh, that's a good ending for it," but I thought it was just it wasn't that good. So, anyways, next the story for Until Dawn. Until Dawn is a very recent game. Came out August 22nd or something like that. At the point where I'm making this video right now, it's been almost a week. So that's how soon it was, or that's how soon I'm doing this. And the reason I'm actually doing this one right now is because right now both games are pretty fresh in my head. I just played through Outlast again on the computer not too long ago, and then I just finished almost getting the platinum on Until Dawn. I had to play through the game one more time and kill everyone, so that should be fun. But the story in Until Dawn is 10 friends going to a like a ski lodge type thing. They're the three siblings, Hannah and Beth and Josh, have a cabin and a whole kind of like little mansion up on top of a hilltop, and they go there. A prank goes terribly wrong. Hannah and Beth run away, and unfortunately they fall down a hole and die. So on the anniversary of that, Josh, the brother, invites everyone to come up to the cabin in the mansion again and have a good time. And pretty much right away you can tell this is the game is just like a movie, except you get to choose what really happens. You can choose when people die. You can choose to save this person, let this person die. There are major things that you can change. There's also very minuscule things you can change. And it all really affects the outcome of the game. So it's not like a Telltale game where everything's kind of mapped out for you and you go there no matter what. This game, you can miss entire parts of the game if this person dies or this person doesn't get to the part in the right place. Or I'll even give you a little example. If the psychopath catches Sam, there's a whole part of the game where you discover his secret lair that you cannot go into because you get captured. So it's very interesting, very intriguing. And if I compare the two, they're both very, very good stories, and I like them both. It's just that Until Dawn's ending was really strong, and I liked how you could change everything to the ending. I know that's not really what's the deciding factor, the change thing, but Until Dawn has a very good ending no matter what you do. Um, Outlast ending was just, it wasn't there for me. And even though the Whistler DLC was good, it still just did not satisfy me. So in category 1, Until Dawn gets a point. In the second category, I'm sorry, category 2. Category 2 is secrets and extras, or like Easter egg kind of things, collectibles. What is in the game that you can learn about the game, the extras you can get, and the special features that are on the games. And this is the big one because both games have very, very nice extras in it. I'll start with Until Dawn on this one, kind of mix it up. Until Dawn has a lot of different collectibles. There's 4 different things you can collect in the game. There are 3 cases to solve, and then there's one you can collect the totem poles, which kind of give you insight into the future or different events that can happen. The cases, very interesting. Once you finish collecting all of them, it really maps out the story for you. Of course, you have to find them during the game, so if you don't find one, you have to restart the whole game to get back to it, so it's good to kind of check everything. Or follow a YouTube video, whatever floats your boat. As for the extras, there's a very nice extra on this game, which is the making of the game, making of the characters, making of the scenes, making of the monsters, making of everything. And it's all very nice. I love it when video games do this. They show you how they made the game, got the game all together. It's very nice, very solid work, and I applaud them for that. Not a lot of games will go the extra mile and actually make these kind of quotation documentary things. So Until Dawn has a very nice bonus system. The collectible thing, like I said, you have to find it, and if you don't find it, you have to restart the whole game. If we move on to Outlast, pretty much the same thing with Until Dawn. It has those moments in the game where you can record what you're looking at, and you can unlock a journal. And then in the journal, you can read what the reporter or the person in the Whisperer DLC writes about it and thinks about what he just saw. It also gives you a broader scope of the story in the asylum and what's going on. If you don't raise your camera at the right time or look at it, you're going to miss it, and you'll go through the whole game and have to restart to get to the place again. So it's just like Until Dawn with the extras. Unfortunately, there's really nothing else with the extras besides credits. That's all you do under the extras. As for collectibles, I know they're very cool to find, but really, it's not as in depth as Until Dawn. So that's why Until Dawn gets a point in this one as well. Category number 3. Category number 3 is graphics, and this is a big one. Especially for these games because they use a lot of the gore and the facial movements and all of that good stuff in the games itself. And I'll start with Outlast. Outlast has a very nice graphic system. It's perfect for the atmosphere in the game. The dust particles everywhere. When you're looking through the camera, everything's all very nicely done in night vision, and when you're not, it's very spooky and dark. The characters are modeled great. I don't really see too much of that, like phasing in through objects, like a lot of games do nowadays. And really, it's all around a very nicely done game. The gore it's just kind of there. It's not like they actually use it anyway. Sometimes you'll see something get chopped in half, and it'll just chop in half, and nothing will really happen. There's lots of blood splatter and all that good stuff. And the fine details on the characters are very nice, especially when, when you first see the doctor, you can really see all the stitches around on him, or the big guy with the chains. Yeah, he's a very terrifying sight when you first see him. As for Until Dawn, I mean, it is a next generation game. A lot of games say they're next generation, and they turn out not to be. I'm looking at you, The Order 1886. This game has the graphics and has the gameplay. And the reason I bring up The Order is I say this to everyone. The Order is a perfect example for a game that has the good graphics, but just does not have the gameplay, and you can't stand on graphics alone. It might sell the game, but people are going to give it bad reviews like I did. And Until Dawn has the graphics. They got the face motion capture for every character. They got the gore and the blood and the gruesome deaths, and they really did a Mortal Kombat job with this stuff. I mean, they went into extreme detail. The snow, the walking around in caves and mines and the asylum, and everything about the game is finely tuned. But there's there's a huge but here. When you work this hard at getting the graphics so nice and so done well, there's still parts in the game where there's a part in the game where Josh is looking over a window and his hands go through the window. There's a part where I think it's Ashley is walking around, and when you first look at her, her feet aren't on the floor. Um, I found one before. There's a cutscene, and the guy's arm was like going through a wall. So that is why Until Dawn does not get the point on this one. Outlast gets the point on graphics simply because it didn't have those weird things in the cutscenes or in the normal aspect of the game. It really shone. Even though Until Dawn has near perfect graphics, but it's just that people are phasing through the things, and I feel like that's a little sloppy. So Outlast gets a point in the graphic department. Category number 4. Category number 4 is atmosphere, and I've mentioned this before, in earlier, but this one is it scary? Is the game scary? How's the atmosphere in the game? And both games are very, 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 very intense, very scary. I mean, they're not very scary, but they are scary. They give you jumps. Outlast is more of a jump scare kind of thing. There's a lot of jump scares in the beginning, and there's also a lot of running away from things, which can be very intense, very antagonizing for people. And there's a lot of areas where you have to hide under things. You have to, watch what they do, and run away. It's a very frightening game. I did a whole playthrough of it. If you want to see it, it's on my channel. I do get spooked almost in every chapter. And in the Whisperer DLC, there's a lot of those weird, gross things, and the atmosphere in Outlast is very spooky, very scary. Until Dawn, like I said with Outlast, it has a lot of jump scares, and it has a little bit too many. So many that you kind of stop being scared after a while of jump scares. They have the crows in the beginning, and the deer, and then the spooky people, and the monsters, and everything kind of just... It's too much jump scare. There's not enough of that, fight or flight kind of response. The choices you have to make are sometimes very antagonizing, makes you very nervous for what you're doing. When something pops out and kills you, that also is very scary. But all in all, Outlast is a little bit scarier than this game. Until Dawn is very intense, especially towards the end, but the fact that they use way too many jump scares just gives it that unscary feeling after a while. And that's why Outlast wins in the Skura department. Next up is Category 5, Characters and Development in the game. I'll start with Outlast. Outlast is pretty basic. There's a few characters that are of note, and then everyone else is kind of backup characters. There's the original guy, the reporter, who you play as in the first one. Then there's also the IT guy in the Whisper DLC. In the original one, there's the chain guy. Don't really get a name for him. There's the doctor, and there's the priest. And they all kind of go hand in hand with all the different things that happen in the game. In the Whisperer DLC, the chain guy comes back. You don't see the doctor, but you do see more of the... there's I would say your boss in the game, in the Whisperer DLC. You see him. He's a big part of the game. Also, there's that spooky specter in both of them, which tries to kill you throughout the whole thing. So there's not too many characters. Character development, it's more you have to find the stuff to develop the characters, instead of it just kind of telling you about the characters or giving them some backstory. You have to find the stuff and record it and write it down in your journal, and you'll see the backstory of the doctor or something like that. Until Dawn, there's a lot of character development, especially from the first chapter to the last chapter. Everyone in there changes in one way or another. Everything changes one way or another, if you choose to. There are options where you don't have to develop the character. You can just have them off at the soonest moment. But really, the Until Dawn has some great characters. Everyone's a little bit different in the game. You have Mike, who's the funny guy. You have Chris, who's kind of like the nervous guy, who's very relatable to pretty much everyone. There's Ashley, who's the nervous girl. There's Emily, who's the stuck-up bitch. There's Jessica, who's the blonde stuck-up bitch. There's Sam, who's kind of the level-headed person. There's Josh, who's kind of in the background. He's kind of indifferent about everything, and there's also Matt, who's just kind of stuck where he is. And there's another character in the game. I don't want to give anything away, but he has hardly any character development unless you find the clues and secrets to unlocking it. So all in all, Until Dawn definitely has more character development and better characters in it. Although Outlast has more of the scary characters, but Until Dawn definitely builds upon them and uses them more, which is why Until Dawn gets a point. Category 6 is replay value. Outlast, you kind of go through the game, and when you get done, you're like, okay, that was a good game, but I don't really want to go through it again. And unless you're a person like me who wants to go through it again and get all the extra things, there's really no reason to play Outlast again or the Whistleblower DLC. It's kind of a one and done kind of thing, because you know what happens, you know how to get past everything, all the things kind of check out. So that's why I'm like, you don't really want to play through Outlast again unless you want to get all this stuff. Or if you're changing platforms like PS3 to PC, there's a few different things that happen here or there, but it's not too different to make you go, oh yes, gotta play it now. Until Dawn, on the other hand, Until Dawn has a lot of replay value, but and it's a longer replay value time than Outlast, because there's different things you can do in Until Dawn, there's different directions you can take, and everything can go different. You definitely need to replay the game to get all the trophies, and they're easy trophies. Most of them are choices or finding everything, and then other ones are, you know, how many people did you save, or how many people got killed, or something like that. So there is more of a urge to replay Until Dawn than Outlast, which is why Until Dawn gets a point for replay value. So, as we stand, Until Dawn has 4 points and Outlast has 2. So, Category 7 would have been the tiebreaker if there was a tie, and Category 7 is overall satisfaction. And since Until Dawn has already won, I'm not going to give any points for overall satisfaction. But if I was going to get a point, I'd probably make it a tie, because both games are very fun, very spooky, fun to play games. Until Dawn's a little bit boring in the beginning, but once it starts to catch up in Chapter 2, you really feel the momentum, and you really want to finish this game and see what happens to the characters. Same with Outlast. It kind of starts off spooky, gets really spooky, gets even spookier, and you want to see where it goes from there. Same with the Whistleblower DLC, because you kind of already know what happens in the original thing, so you can kind of go, okay, so this is happening when this is happening, and this is happening when this is happening, so we can kind of see where they mesh and get together. And like I said, both games are very satisfying. If you haven't played them, I suggest picking them up and playing them. If you're not the person who likes a point-and-click kind of game, don't get them. If you don't like the Telltale series, or you don't like these games where you kind of just look through a camera or something like that, and you can't really fight or do anything like that, I wouldn't suggest getting these games. These are more for the gamers who like kind of a more casual, spooky experience. They like to complete games fully. They like to choose their own adventures with Until Dawn, or they like to be really scared out of their pants in Outlast. So overall satisfaction with both games is a thumbs up, and that's why both games get the point in category number 7. So thanks for listening. Until Dawn is our victor in this versus showdown. And I hope to catch you next time. If you haven't, if you like this video, click the like button, maybe even subscribe to the channel. I'm not here to tell you what to do. If you don't like this video, give it a dislike, and I will compare you to Blackbeard's decapitated head.